I'd like to welcome everybody and thank you for coming out tonight. This is always a wonderful event. I don't know about any of you, but this is how I really start my Christmas time, my Christmas celebration, my spiritual celebration of this holiday season. And this season is actually important for all of us, regardless of your religious beliefs, your political ideology, your philosophical beliefs. This is a time of year when we stop to remember that what we share as human beings. This time of year we tend to be more kind, more generous, more caring, and more merciful. And remember that we are actually not that much different from one another. And that is what this event reminds us of, our human community. That no matter what circumstances we find ourselves, we belong to each other. That we all have a part to play in this life, gifts to share, joy to spread, and love to give. So we gather on the longest night of the year, we huddle together, we light candles against the cold and the dark, we warm each other with care and concern for those who might have otherwise been forgotten or left out. And we light candles to remind us that within each human life, there is a light that shines forth. I'm going to ask people to come up and take a candle, and on the candle you'll see there's a name, and when we read the names you will bring that candle lit forward and place it back on the table. So come up and don't be shy, come up and take a candle. There we go. And if you want a particular name, we can make that happen as well. And you can turn them on now, and again, when your name is read, when we get to that part of the program, you will step forward and place your candle back onto the table. So during this time of year, we are called to settle into the exquisite darkness, to hibernate, rest, and restore. This cycle was given to us at the time of creation, and we are invited to face the darkness in our own lives and in the world around us. The prophets assured us that the darkness will not overcome us, and they call us to watch for the light, notice the light, and to be warmed by its way. And we are called to wait, to hope, and to trust in promises made. Tonight we claim we come alive in both the light and the darkness. And now we're going to have Sue Brewer from the Interfaith Council give us an opening prayer.
Mm-hmm. I have a... Can people...
Nope, you need to use this.
I need this too.
And you need to put it right up to your mouth.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello. I'm Sue Brewer. I represent the Baha'i community of Concord on the Interfaith Council. And I have this beautiful prayer, thank you, to honor those people who have passed. It's a very touching prayer. O thou provider, O thou forgiver, a noble soul hath ascended into the kingdom of reality and hastened from the mortal world of dust to the realm of everlasting glory. Exalt the station of this recently arrived guest, and attire this long-standing servant with a new and wondrous robe. O thou peerless Lord, grant thy forgiveness and grant thy forgiveness and tender care, so that this soul may be admitted into the retreats of thy mysteries and may become an intimate companion in the assemblage of splendors. Thou art the giver, the bestower, the ever-loving. Thou art the provider. Thou art the tender. Thou art the most powerful.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. And now Larry Reagan, who's a CCEH client, is going to come.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, yeah, Larry.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
I'm actually one of the lucky ones. I made it out, and I have my own place now. And I'm hoping everyone else will have the same sooner or later. But I am reading this poem for my wife who passed away a few years ago and for all those who passed away this year. It's called On Those Days. On those days when you miss someone the most, as though your memories are sharp enough to slice through skin and bone, remember how they loved you. Remember how they loved you, and do that for yourself. In their name, in their honor, love yourself as they loved you. They would like that. On those days when you miss someone the most, love yourself harder. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Nice job. Yeah. Nice job. Nice. Thank you. Beautiful, Larry. Prayers for you. And we're glad you made it out. Freeman Tooth from the community, I hope I said your name right, from Community Action Program is going to come up with another reading.
Thank you.
Sorry for saying your name wrong, I'm sure I did.
That's okay. All right, gloves are going.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, my name is Freeman Toth. I manage the street outreach program for the Belknap-Merrimack Community Action Program. Bear with me. I may blubber through this one, but I've prepared a non-secular reading for all of you. Let me start by saying thank you. Thank you for being present here this evening so we may honor those who we lost throughout 2024. I'm going to do my best to share some words that bring me comfort. I hope that this brings all of you some comfort as well. Death is hard. When I reflect on the deaths of these community members, I'm reminded of not only the vigil, this vigil, but similar events, like the International Overdose Awareness Day. They are both strong reminders of the consequences of the failures in our systems and the inability to address the symptoms of poverty in our communities and meet basic human needs. With this as context, I'm going to share a quote from an author by the name of Alan Watts, and then I will recite a short, non-secular prayer that means a great deal to me. Nothing is more creative than death, since it is the whole secret of life. Alan Watts. What Alan means by this is that death is a natural part of our existence, allowing for our renewal and letting go of the past, to embrace the unknown, essentially enabling one to truly live in the moment and be present. For when you are truly present in the moment or in life, death no longer has an icy grip, but rather a warm embrace that we all will get to feel someday when it is our time to transition from life to death. And rather than mourn the loss, we can instead let it serve as a time to rejoice in the splendor that is each of our own unique human experiences. With this in mind, I'll begin the reading. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me, and everyone that I love, is of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Freeman. Tonight, Mary Ann Totten and Sally Bird are going to be doing our bell ringing for us. So as each name is read, they will ring a bell to remind us of those folks. And Connor and Brett, Madison, Freeman, and Sierra are going to be doing the reading of the names. And Connor's going to begin, I believe, correct?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
I very quickly just want to add something. Michael Lechtenberger has done this facilitation for many years, and he always started this with this short blessing
that I found every time when it was read right before the names, it just brought me to complete presentness with it. And I will not do it justice in the way he would say it. It is a blessing to be. It is a blessing to be here. It is a blessing to be here now. And it is a blessing to be here now together. And I think that really just, that's what this is, yes. Okay. The names that are read on this list are collected across the state. So there will be people, all 54 names are across the state of New Hampshire. Here in our community in Concord, there were 14. Aaron K. died on January 2nd, 2024 at the age of 35. Aristobulo L. died on July 14th, 2024 at the age of 87. Bonnie Cody. I don't think I'm going to get through this one. Bonnie Cody was a hell-raising, God-fearing, Blackberry Steel Reserve loving, Bull Southern Spitfire of a woman. I would imagine that many of you have seen her before and you may just not have known her name. At just over 5 feet tall, when hunched over her walker, she might look to be slight and helpless, sometimes playing up that role to get what she wanted, but her looks were deceiving. She was certainly known to cause a ruckus at the shelter on her harder days, but there were many, many good days too. We'll remember her singing along to Kevin Clark's guitar music, picking lilacs for staff outside the resource center every spring, and reading passages from her tattered Bible and sharing stories about her adventures. As funny as she was and impressive as her resilience to will could be, Bonnie spent nearly 15 years living on and off the streets of New Hampshire, and that life eventually wore her down. When Bonnie first came to the Concord Homeless Resource Center in 2021, she was able to walk with just an occasional use of a cane, but by the end of the winter season, she was using her walker full-time. Staff would often help her decorate her walker and brainstorm creative signs for her to use to raise money to survive. Her favorite and most successful iteration, reading Retired Supermodel. In the past 3 years, her son, her ex-husband, her brother, and her most recent partner were all lost to substance use disorders, 3 of the 4 also while experiencing homelessness in New Hampshire. After the passing of her son, she had a harder time emotionally. And after an extensive amount of time living unsheltered in a tent underneath the 393 bridge by the Friendly Kitchen, with increasing health complications, her fight slowly dwindled. It was heartbreaking to see her becoming more and more subdued and quiet. Sadly, Bonnie died in Manchester on May 14th, and she was completely alone. We only found out because we Googled her name and we found the obit from the New Hampshire Cremation Society, because her remains were unclaimed, and they still sit on a desk at CCEH pending burial. Brenda Emerson. She died on August 3rd at the age of 77. Brenda experienced homelessness for many years. She came from a large family and was one of 12 children. She had 2 children of her own, a daughter and a son. Brenda was residing at Genesis in Lebanon when she passed away. Brittany G. She died on September 17th at the age of 38. Carol J. She died on September 23rd at the age of 60. Catherine G. She died on May 30th at the age of 50. Chelsea Marie Glover. She was 31 years old when she died. She was found in the woods sometime in April, but she had died in January. She was a fashionista who loved to shop and spend hours making herself look beautiful and perfect. She also loved to spend time alone in the craft room where the artist within her was able to create, and she lived for love. She could rock a room with her presence. She brought smiles, laughter, and on occasion, some tears. Her brother will love her forever, and her mama has many words for the unconditional love that they shared together. Those will stay locked up in her mom's broken heart and stay there until they meet again. Her spirit is with all that knew her, and she will be around. I love you to the moon and back, were Mom and Chelsea's last words to each other. Now will it be in heaven. Christy B. She died on December 21st at the age of 49. Daniel G. died on December 22nd of 2023 at the age of 50. David L. Daniel died on February 15th at the age of 48. Thank you. Dennis R. Dennis died on August 4th at the age of 62. Thank you. I think Brett, you're next. Hang on.
Whoa. Keep it away from that. Hello, everybody. Elizabeth died March 30th, 2024, at the age of 59. Elsbeth Cecil Hopkins. She died on November 20th at the age of 84. Cecil, or ECH, as she liked to be to sign her name in emails and drawings, was a remarkable woman. She was small in stature but had a big personality. Born in 1939 in Nazi Germany, Cecil experienced atrocities as a child, and her father was a scientist who reportedly was wanted by the Nazis. Like her father, Cecil was very intelligent. She spoke fluent German, loved books, and was an artist. She was a regular at the Kilton Library. Cecil gave Lynn her drawings of the swimmer, which Lynn returned to Cecil when she found herself unhoused again. In the last few years of her life, Cecil lived in Hanover, West Lebanon, and Bradford. She was living at the Havens-Hickson's house before her death at Dartmouth Medical Center. Eric Lasson. Eric P. Died on May 5th, 2024 at the age of 49. Avengi H. Died on October 2nd, 2024 at the age of 39. Francine Barron. Francine Barron was born June 28, 1974 in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and died on December 27, 2023 in Concord at the age of 49. When diminutive and gentile, Francine Barron walked into a room, the first thing you would notice with her was her smile. She loved working, loved her family and friends, and loved her faith. Francine may have been hurting and frightened or sad, but she always had a kind word or a time of prayer to help those in need. Francine is survived by her 2 children, 3 grandchildren, her brother, and 2 sisters, and a handful of nieces, nephews, and cousins. Fred B. Died on June 1st, 2024, at the age of 64. This one's going to be hard. Grant Oland. Grant died on November 22nd. He attended Nashua and Manchester public schools and completed certificate programs for work that he had chosen in the field of substance use and recovery. Many of his closest friends spoke of his efforts with them to help break the cycle of addiction. His happy place was being in the service of others. Grant also enjoyed being in the woods, near water, camping or hiking as often as he could. His calm spirit reassured those in his presence. Grant was a truly special soul, kind, loving, and full of faith. He lived his life with an unwavering belief in God and the grace of Jesus as his Savior. Grant was a kind person who would show up when no one else would, always willing to help, even when he needed help himself. He had a unique ability to connect with others in their darkest moments, guiding many towards recovery and hope. As a recovery coach, Grant's personal journey, his ups and downs, gave him a depth of understanding that few could match. He knew the internal struggles of recovery firsthand, and that knowledge became his greatest gift to others. He was a beacon of compassion and encouragement, always ready to lend a hand, a listening ear, or simply his presence. Grant never wished to harm anyone. He loved deeply and fully, embracing those around him in the kindness that left an indelible mark. He greeted everyone with a heartfelt, "Hey, brother," as a phrase that symbolized not just his bond in recovery, but the brotherhood he believed we all shared in our relationship with God. Grant will be profoundly missed. His impact on the homeless and the recovery communities was greater than he ever realized. He wasn't trying to be a hero. He was just being himself. And that's what made him extraordinary. A kind, big-hearted, loving human being who left the world a little better than he found it. Rest in peace, brother. You're loved, and your legacy will live on. Ian Taylor Orrs. Ian unfortunately passed away at the young age of 21 on August 23rd. He was a son, a brother, a friend, and most importantly, a father. Ian was so special. He never failed to put smiles on people's faces, on all those around him. He had a calm about him. He could say anything he wanted and get away with it, because he would always follow it up with a, "I'm just kidding," or "I'm sorry," or "I love you." He was so determined. He had so many goals, dreams, and aspirations. He reached out for help whenever he needed it. He had strength and resilience like no other, despite all the challenges thrown his way. Ian had a goofy, crooked smile and could light up the room as soon as he walked in. He was the absolute best human who you would ever meet in your life. James Wingfield. He died on July 26. He was just 18 years old. James spent most of his life in the Philippines before falling ill. Doctors weren't able to diagnose or treat him, and his family decided that it was best for him and his father to return to the United States. Unfortunately, upon his arrival, he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Despite being given a terminal diagnosis, James showed true strength in navigating his strenuous medical journey with grace and continued moving forward. James' mother was able to join him and his father on his final days. Jason Norrie. Jason J. Norrie, 48, of Haverhill, Mass., passed away peacefully on June 15th, surrounded by loved ones at the Concord Hospital. He was born March 4th, 1976, in Haverhill, Massachusetts. As a child, Jason excelled at playing hockey, and he loved sports and continued those in his adulthood. He loved rap music and writing original songs. He also enjoyed relaxing outdoors and attending family barbecues. Jason struggled with substance use and was trying so hard to heal and move forward. He entered substance use treatment multiple times over the years. His death. Sorry, I lost my place, everybody. He was funny and kind, always quick to say thank you, and loved good clementines. Jason will be sadly missed by his family and friends. He was survived by his mother, 4 children, 2 sisters, and many nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, and cousins.
Jason Place. He died on December 6, 2024, at the age of 55. Jason was a longtime resident of Lebanon. He was the afternoon DJ on KIXX 100.5 and later became co-host of the Jason and Tracy in the Morning Show. Jason had a great disposition and could make people smile. Radio listeners appreciated his sense of humor. Joel Bashaw. Joel Clark Bashaw, 61, died October 23rd in Concord, New Hampshire, as the result of a tragic bike accident. Joel was soft-spoken and kind, and he was so grateful for any assistance he ever received from people around him. He stayed at McKenna House on and off over the past 2 years, helping out within the shelter in addition to his work at the Salvation Army store. Joel struggled with depression and substance use, but fought hard for himself anyway, even in the times where he didn't believe he deserved a better life. It's heartbreaking to note that he died before he could prove himself wrong. John E. died on February 4th, 2024, at the age of 52. John White. He died on April 26, 2024, at the age of 55. He is missed and loved by family. Joseph M. died on March 14th, 2024, at the age of 65. Joshua Ellsworth. Josh S. Ellsworth died on January 26th after a long struggle with addiction. He was 35 years old. Josh loved the outdoors. He was always happy when fishing, snowmobiling, or hunting. When indoors, he couldn't wait to create and cook a delicious meal for himself and others. He also loved to watch baseball and football and spend time with his nieces and nephews. Over the years, Josh worked as a chef, castings worker, and a welder. He enjoyed working and was always willing to lend a helping hand. Joshua had a huge heart, loved his family, and knew he was loved. Caring members of his family tried to help him release the powerful grip of addiction several times, but in the end, that release was not a part of his journey. Justina Steffi. She died on October 14th at the age of 31. Justina was a former resident of West Lebanon, but had been staying in her car most recently. Justina was reported missing from Keene in early October. Her remains were found in Warwick, Massachusetts, after 3 weeks of searching for her. She was a cherished daughter and a sister, proud mother, and dear friend who brought much love and light into the lives of those who knew her. She was known for staying upbeat when life challenged her. Catherine Isaacs. Catherine died on February 4th at the age of 63. She identified as Native American, had 2 adult children, and her brother nearby. She survived multiple medical issues, but passed away due to cardiac complications. She was a sweet lady who loved her 2 cats very much. Kathy Willis. She died on September 28th at the age of 63. Kathy grew up in Orford, New Hampshire, and graduated from Orford High School, class of 1979. She was a devoted mom, grandmother, and a friend to many. Kathy was a cashier at the Butson supermarket in Lebanon, and she used to tease Lynn every Sunday about how packed her grocery cart was. Kathy was living in Lebanon at the time of her death. Kenneth Jensen. Kenneth James Jensen, 68, of Concord, passed away on Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. He was born on November 7th, 1955, in Woburn, Mass. Throughout the years, he worked in various construction positions, but spent the majority of his time in landscaping. An outdoorsman at heart, he was an avid fisherman and a hiker, and loved spending time with his kids in the outdoors, going camping. He enjoyed all types of music and was known to play the harmonica. Kenneth loved to garden and was skilled at woodworking. Kevin Brulard. He passed away on May 10th, 2024. Lean Rachel Bass. She died on February 12th at the age of 37. Born in Texas, she was raised in Vermont. She lived with chronic medical conditions, and she tried to overcome her obstacles. Lillian Tompkins Wallace. She died on September 21st at the age of 87. Lillian was well known to many staff at the Havens since she and her dog Daisy were frequent visitors. Lillian loved to shop at the food market and then bake and donate treats for sharing. She was one of 12 children who worked on her parents' milking farm along with her other siblings. Lillian married her childhood sweetheart who lived on a nearby farm, and they eventually bought property in West Hartford, Vermont, and raised 4 children together. Lillian also had 2 grandchildren. She would always say nothing bothered her because she was a farm girl, as she would shake her fist in the air and smile. She was set in her ways and saw no reason for many of life's annoyances, like going to the doctor or taking medication. Lillian enjoyed, and in this order, her dog Daisy, baking, driving, and the Hallmark Channel.
Dang it. Yeah, of course. Is that good?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lindsay S. died on September 18th, 2024, at the age of 58. Lisa Cheney. Known by many in the community as Mama or Auntie, Lisa was a woman who cared for others, a lifelong resident of New Hampshire. She loved the outdoors and camping, fishing, crafts, especially wood burning, cooking for her family and friends, and could be counted on to have a sweet smile on her face. Lisa graduated from Merrimack Valley High School, class of 1985. Her career after high school consisted of a number of administrative jobs, including with the New Hampshire Department of Labor. She particularly enjoyed this job because her grandmother had worked there for many years, and they would have often compared notes. Lisa always had a heart for those who were less fortunate. She especially had a great love and compassion for the homeless community and would readily share any abundance of food, clothing she had. Frequently, she was troubled when she felt the homeless were being treated unfairly, saying people should not judge a book by its cover. Lisa died on April 17th in VNA hospice care after suffering a stroke while in her encampment. She was 56 years of age. Her presence and care will be missed by many, including her partner, Tracy, who is still experiencing homelessness right here in Concord. Lucas A. died September 18th, 2024, at the age of only 45. Margarita died on February 15th, 2024, January 21st, 2024, at the age of 85 years old. Matthew J. Died on February 15th, 2024, at the age of only 42. Michael Murray. He died on July 23rd, at the age of 63. Michael lived in South Carolina, and upon moving to Vermont, spent time in the southwest part of the state and enjoyed the White Mountains of New Hampshire. With health conditions, when health conditions kept him from hiking and camping, he took up macrame, thank you, to not be idle. Michael secured housing through the VHIP program and was housed for a year before his passing. Nadia N. Nadia died on November 22nd, 2024, at the age of 88 years old. Olive Seaton. Olive died on May 16th at the age of 22. Olive was spirited, beguiling young woman with a variety of skills, talents, interests, and struggles. She was tenacious, outspoken, and never lacked the courage to keep trying to move forward in her life. She experienced both mental health and substance use challenges, but had been making great efforts to move forward and be well. Patrick Walsh. To people that knew Patrick, you knew him as Mountain Man. Mountain Man was exactly as you would expect for a man with that nickname. He was loud, he was gruff, and a little crass, especially if he had something to drink. But was ultimately a very kind and good-hearted man. Mountain Man came to Concord, New Hampshire with a carnival in 2000 and decided that he loved it so much he never left. He could often be found downtown, happily singing by the clock tower, brown bag in hand. When he stayed at the shelter, he often mopped the floors, cleaning up trash outside, raking leaves, or anything else he could do to help. Living outside, Mountain Man succumbed to the emotional weight of experiencing homelessness. He died by suicide on February 28th. He was 64 years old. He was found by a fellow camper who had come to check on him after seeing him the previous day, after not seeing him for a day. His death shook the community, and he is still dearly missed. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, good Lord. Randall Jakes. So Randall was in our supportive housing program and had been housed for a couple years before he passed away in October. And he was my absolute favorite thorn in my side, and I think he enjoyed that. He was a lot of fun, so much fun to work with. He was an amazing artist and loved trying different styles, and he would paint on his walls, much to my chagrin, and on his shower and on his light globe. And a lot of folks in the community called him Sam. I never really knew why until someone else I was working with at the resource center, another client, she said that it stood for Secret Agent Man. So I was very secretive. Randall had 2 adult sons, and he was very close to his ex-wife. They still loved each other very, very much, even though they weren't married anymore. And he was very, very loved and very missed. Rico B. Rico died on June 29th, 2024 at the age of 63. River R. River died on April 1st, 2024 at the age of 67. Robert B. Robert died on April 29th, 39 years old. Robert C. Robert was 75 when he died on July 14th. Robert Montgomery. He passed away on December 12th in the hospital after a long struggle with homelessness, AIDS, and mental health. He was from Littleton. Ryan Collins. Ryan left us too soon on January 25th. Born on July 8th, 1984, he lived a life that was characterized by sincerity and unwavering loyalty, qualities that engraved him in the hearts of those lucky enough to have known him. Sarah Tuckus. Scott C. Scott died on May 28th at the age of 60. Stephen McMillan. He passed away on January 15th. Stephen was an amazing person with a big heart. He was big on family and loved spending time with them. He loved playing darts, watching the Bruins, cooking, and fixing cars. Stephen loved watching Law & Order and never missed an episode. Harbor Freight was his favorite destination. He was a fixer and loved taking on new projects. Stephen is predeceased by his parents and his sister. He's survived by his loving wife, his son, his daughters, sisters, grandkids, stepmother, and close friends, as well as many nieces, nephews, cousins, and friends. Susan Moulton. Sue's pride and joy were her dogs, Sebastian, who preceded her, and her baby Polly. Susan had a great business mind and put a lot of effort into improving the several businesses that she had worked for. She loved to shop and decorate her home. She was a very caring individual who was always willing to help others. For almost half her life, she struggled with addiction. Susan had a soft spot for others who were in the same situation as her, always trying to make things easier for them, most times at a detriment to herself. Her addiction afforded her many struggles in her life and her relationships with her kids and family members. In the long run, addiction took the functionality of her body, leaving her mind fully intact in a body she could no longer control. Though her extreme physical pain and condition was difficult to manage, she always had a smile and determination. Brave Susan and her husband of 13 years worked tirelessly to achieve housing throughout her darkest days and never gave up hope that she would have a safe home. She died on January 7th at the age of 49, less than a month after she and her husband were housed through Veteran Services. Her body and soul are finally at rest, and she will be sorely missed by many. Tim Hoyt. Whether you needed to be told off, prayed over, or given a cookie, Tim Hoyt was your guy. Tim was as genuine and funny as he was tough and rough around the edges. At times he had no filter and could get himself in trouble, but it was always with a gentle heart. He endured homelessness with extreme physical hardship and ultimately opened his heart to unexpected friendship. He was known to keep extensive journals of his life, and those of us lucky enough to have been able to read them were shown the introspective and thoughtful words of a man wizened by life's trials and challenges. Tim tragically died in Concord just a few weeks before being housed after being hit by a vehicle while crossing the road. He was 67. Timothy White. He passed away on November 8th. Tori Roberts. Tori left this earth on July 10th. Tori's impact was immeasurable in his 50 years of life. Despite the personal battles he was facing, he was a dedicated and loving father. He was a true and loyal friend. He was an amazing artist and carpenter and loved to create intricate art pieces and drawings for the people he loved. His ultimate dream was to reach the addict that still struggled and to make a real difference. He dreamed of spreading awareness and compassion across the country and starting what he coined the Tori Foundation. He was passionate and forgiving and truly a light in the midst of so much darkness. He touched countless lives with his gentle and selfless nature. We are changed by knowing him and by losing him. Tori is survived by his mother, his beautiful daughters, his beloved grandson, and many other family members and friends who continue to miss him dearly every day. William Vasquez. He died on November 20th at 34 years old. Your one wish, this is a quote that's included in here. Your one wish was for me to get sober, and that I did for myself and our kids. Thank you for always believing in me and providing for our kids and helping me as much as you could while struggling with your own demons. The kids and I have the best guardian angel, and we love you, William. And then we have two just special mentions that we wanted to take this time to point out. Hope Zanes Butterworth, who was the founder of the Friendly Kitchen in Concord. And T.G. Royce, a longtime shelter staff, volunteer, and community advocate in Concord.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank all those staff that read from the different organizations that read the names. And I want to especially thank you for your tears and for the work that you do all the time to love and care for all these folks on our behalf. So not just thank you for tonight, but thank you for all the work that you do all the time. And I want to just, before I send us away with a blessing, I want to just reiterate Larry's words, which are, this is wonderful and good, and we have to work so hard and harder together as a community. So nobody is without a house, without enough food, or without shelter. We have to work harder to make the conditions of our community, not just for us who are well off, but for everybody. And I'm going to count on all of you who've come out here tonight to pledge to continue to do that with the Coalition and Homelessness as we leave from this place. Could I have someone come up and help me? I just, we can hold the light and hold the paper back, actually. I didn't mention at the beginning, I'm Pastor John Hopkins. I'm from Concordia Lutheran Church here in Concord. This is a poem called Beloved is Where We Begin from Jan Richardson. If you would enter into the wilderness, do not begin without a blessing. Who you are, beloved, named by the one who has traveled this path before you. Do not go without letting it echo in your ears. And if you find it hard to let your heart, let it into your heart, do not despair. That is what the journey is for. I cannot promise this blessing will free you from danger, from fear, from hunger or thirst, from the scorching of the sun or the fall of the night. But I can tell you that on this path there will be help. I can tell you that on this way there will be rest. I can tell you that you will know the strange graces that come to our aid only on a road such as this, that fly to meet us bearing comfort and strength, that come alongside us for no other cause than to lean themselves toward our ear, and with their curious insistence whisper our name, beloved, beloved, beloved. Happy holidays, everybody.